This is what happens when you have a conversation and you don't define terms. You just talk, and people are using terms differently, and like so, you just have to.
Nobody was using terms differently up here. Pretty's definition of single
No,
was the same as mine. Miss Pearl's definition of single is the same as yours. The only person redefining shit up here is her.
There's a couple things that I did want to respond to, but I will say like something that BK said. Decentering men is not a trauma response. Like, I hate that whenever a woman decides that they want to, that they have an understanding of what's going on societally and they want to take a journey for themselves, that somehow that has to be tied to trauma. Like, these dudes have not traumatized a lot of these women who've decided decentering men is important. Therapy also, bringing that up as an example, would be a form of decentering men, because you're centering yourself, your own mental health, your own wants, your own needs. A lot of times when you're in therapy, they're telling you to do shadow work. They're telling you to dig within yourself. That would be you centering yourself and decentering society and trying to find some truth from within. So I think like we need to destigmatize this idea of decentering men. And I do agree with Trev when it comes to that. I think it is working. We are getting to a point where we are, for the first time in society, starting to see the spinsters and the old maids tell their story. We're starting to see older women who never had children, never got married, speak. And we're hearing that it's not all terrible. So for the women who decide they do not want to get into marriages, they actually have someone to look to. But I also think on the other side, for the women who are in marriages and want to be married and are happily married, we also have examples to look to of women who are self-empowered and partnered with men, and we can make those autonomous decisions for ourselves. Do I want to be partnered? Do I not? And these are some people I can look to for potential advice, like on either side. And I think it's important that we're not saying decentering men means you cannot be with men. It is to center your wants, your needs, so you can actually be a better partner if you have one. When you decenter men, you are a better partner because you now know what you want. You've chose somebody based on what you think you're aligned with, and then you know how to support that person because you guys are aligned as two people, right? And I think we need to like bring that part into the conversation a little bit and stop with the like, you've been hurt and that's why you're a feminist BS, because I think that's just painting a wide brush.
I think the decentering men thing sound a lot like the red pill thing to me, and I'll explain. So most of the red pill guys that I see, they lean on the idea that, oh, red pill is just simply the truth, right? However, when I look at them in practice and I study them and I listen to them, you're hurt. You know, you want to vent. You have, issues with women and you want to tell us all about it. And this is your primary incentive and your primary motivation, right? I think the decentering men thing sounds a lot like that to me, whereas you can mask it and say, oh no, it's all about this and it's therapy and it's about myself, and like no, I think they hurt and they trying to they trying to find another option, another way. However, most of them are decentering men. It feels like a rebellion. It's not really real from what I experienced. Of course, you're gonna have some people they really about it, right? Like some red pill guys are really red pill. They just want the truth. It ain't about other stuff. But yeah, I think for the most part, the people yelling at decentering men thing, they ain't really trying to decenter men.
Yeah, and I think if you're still having sex with men, you're not really trying to desensitize it. If you're depending on your pleasure from the male, piece or whatever. I also do think that there's a difference between those quote unquote Spencers, people who've chosen a life of singleness, real singleness, not fake singleness. Because I already tell people, if you got kids and you're a good mother or father, you're not single. I tell my mother this all the time because you always have children on you, and you can say because you get the emotional right support, you always have some around. That's not true singleness. There are women out there and there are some men who are truly single and they do not have children, right? To get that emotional validation and love from. They don't have, grandkids, all of that. If you got kids, you're not truly single.
Do you have children? Just real quick. Do you have
confused?
Kids?
How are you?
It's cool, Toya. Do you have kids, BK? No. Okay, because that was I'm not the fact that you just said that people who have children cannot be single because they get the love. That's what you said in English. Because they can't get the love and emotional support because they get it from their kids. Listen, and no disrespect, that is the most retarded shit I've heard on this show, because there is nothing like having a wife or a girlfriend that I could compare to having my son and daughter. My son and daughter don't emotionally support me in the way that I expect or adult male would expect. You're talking about these Jeffrey Epstein niggas. Those are the people that shit makes sense to. Like what you just said, that's for people who's on that island because they get emotional support and romantic support from kids. But from an adult male, none of us do that. Like nothing about what you said is true for men, especially. And then women, it's even worse because y'all run the risk of turning your sons into son husbands because you try to rely on them for that emotional support. So that what you're saying right, that shit is dangerous.
Like I said, I don't believe people with children are truly single. I don't know what about that you didn't understand or why you thought it was so crazy. Alone is alone.
What it was crazy about that.
It sounds crazy to me too, and I got kids.
Hold on, Becky.
Everybody up here.
Wait. Too many mics. Let Becky finish responding, and then we'll pick up from there.
The whole point of this was with the decentering men. There are people who truly have decentered men. They are alone, right? They don't have anybody. They didn't decide to have kids. That's whatever. I think that method of people, right, is one thing. I think the people who have children, who used to be in relationships and all that, when they go to decentering men, I have yet to find someone that says, oh, yeah, I had great relationships, or their stories is, oh, I had great, but I've decided to decenter. I haven't seen anyone who had a positive past, right, that has decided to decenter in the way that we're using it as a popular term, which is typically, right, oh, no, I will let a man be my background and not my opposite. But Pretty, you have your hand. Or Matt was going to say something.
No, that's a good point.
No, it's not.
So, Pretty, I'm going to let you go, but I think Toya was trying to chime in first. We're going to let her go ahead, and then you right after.
When she said that she don't know anybody who's decentering men who has a history and a past of great relationships with men, who they can just say, yeah, like I've had all my relationships have been great and I really love men and I respect men. However, I'm decentering them. I think that makes sense. I don't really hear women who have that past saying that they are decentering men. It's more so the ones who have had bad experiences and trauma who go to that route.
Go ahead, Toya.
I was going to say, for the first, I actually, there's some validity to that. I agree with her point with that one. But to say that people who have children are never truly single is wild to me. That's a really wild claim.
Single as in.
Does that make sense to anybody?
Because I'm trying to understand, where are we getting this emotional support from? Because
hold on, Toya, hold on. Let's allow her to expound on what she means.
Yes, please.
So when you're truly single, and when I say truly single, I mean you do not have offspring and you do not have an opposite partner, right? Meaning you are actually by yourself. No one on this panel with children can refute that they love and they can pour their love somewhere if they have children, right? Or if they have someone of the opposite. When someone who is an actual, who's completely single, that's why I said truly single, right? I know that your status is single because you do not have a love partner, right? But you still have a surrounding love circle that's lifting you up. There are people in this world who don't have that and have chosen life not to have that. And their life is going to be very different than someone who does not have children. Y'all will not be able to compare. This is why y'all are a package. When you get with a man, me and my kids is a package. Why? Because they're an extension of you. And so when you go into that relationship, you're not going in that as just a single individual person. You're coming with extras. So that's what I'm saying. I'm not saying single as in oh, you're single as in you don't have a romantic partner. I mean aloneness, oneness. There's only you to worry about. There's no package deal that you have to present to somebody because you're by yourself.
Hey, so just to be clear, is the definition of single has we not been accepted as not having a romantic partner? Trying to redefine words again. Yeah, I just want to be very clear. Did anybody else think that shit made sense? Because I'm biased, obviously. But
I think what she's trying to say is being fully single.
Yes or no? Don't cape for your friend. All I'm
not, because it didn't make sense to me. But I'm trying to understand what she's trying to say. So I'm trying to think outside of my own mind right now.
Your hair gonna fall out because you're gonna get hot and you're gonna pass the fuck out trying to figure out what she just said.
Let me try. Thank you very much.
She said she told her mother this.
We gotta start by
his forehead if he was like, Dad, you could never be
this is what happens when you have a conversation and you don't define terms. You just talk and people are using terms differently, and so you just have to.
Nobody was using terms differently up here. Pretty's definition of single is the same as mine. Miss Pearl's definition of single is the same as yours. The only person redefining shit up here is her.
Yeah, Becky's using the term. I'd like to know what single mean. Like, what do you mean by when you say? Are you talking lonely?
The dictionary.
Well,
that's
also,
what she just said. That's what I was trying to explain.
Only one or not? Is that not the first definition of single in the dictionary? Only one? If you have children, is there not more than one person?
Well, Becky, I would think that culturally, when we use single, we mean romantically. We don't mean that you're without family. We don't mean that you're without a circle. Or that we don't mean that you're without a church, right? We typically mean just romantically you're single, if that makes sense.
Mandatory birth control.
That's why I said truly single. I didn't just say romantic.
So,
I'm sorry, that triggered.
No, it's not. Didn't trigger us. It just was. A lot of us, it was dumb, and I'm the one that's vocal about it. But again, I was against mandatory birth control as a conversation topic that we had on another show. I'm rethinking that shit now because that is crazy.